And are you struggling to get results from your website? Well, stick around and find out how you can turn clicks into conversions. So I am Jason Ross, one of your co-hosts. I'm a web developer with over 10 years of experience, where I specialize in SEO and website conversions.
And I'm Terry, a new entrepreneur, actor, voice actor, and model.
And so today what we're going to be talking about is website conversions and how you can take your struggling website and convert it into a market-dominating powerhouse.
How would you define a website conversion, and how can it help your business?
Well, that's going to depend on the nature of your business. Generally, some of the things that you'd look at for a website conversion would be, is the visitor picking up the phone and calling your business? Are they emailing you? Are they signing up to a form, making a purchase, booking an appointment? Any of those types of things that are basically an action where they're taking a next step towards, getting the solution that you're offering would be a website conversion. As to which ones you'd want to use for your business, that's going to depend on the nature of your business. So, for example, an e-commerce site selling basic consumer goods that are more of an impulse purchase, it might be that when people make an actual purchase. Versus if you're selling a business-to-business service, it requires more of a decision-making process, and it might be person requesting information or a consultation with you to find out more about what you're offering.
Okay. Yeah, that would be like my business, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Okay. That's good to know. And so what else does it involve then?
Basically what it involves is, really just the next step that a visitor can take towards becoming a customer. Is going to depend on, as I said, the nature of your business.
The goal is to get more traffic and to get more customers, right?
Exactly.
Okay. So I see what it is now. So how do you get your website to convert?
Now, that's the trick that involves utilizing marketing. And when I'm talking about marketing, I'm not talking about necessarily what you learn in your typical college level marketing class, which usually teaches big business marketing, which right. 95 to 99% of us out there are not running a big Fortune 500 company
right.
with
no, we're entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Exactly. We're just, single people, having a mom and pop, business like myself. And yeah, that's the vast majority of us. And,
or maybe a smaller business, maybe 15 to 20 employees, making 1 to 3 million a year in sales, anything like that.
Exactly.
Whereas a big corporation that can afford to do what you call brand awareness marketing is typically they're going to have millions to tens of millions or more, per year to spend on their marketing. So
right.
for the
PR,
rest of us,
exactly.
Yeah. So for the rest of us, what we want to do is what's called conversion-based marketing, which is where you're utilizing a communication formula called the 4 elements of marketing. That's get attention, engage, educate, and make an offer. The first half of that all revolves around your headlines. So what you're wanting to do is start with get attention by presenting a core problem that target market that you wish to service has. And you want to hit their hot button issues and their pain points. So that way the person sees that, right, and thinks that's my problem.
Right. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, you want them to think that you can solve a problem for them or work with them.
Exactly.
To solve a problem that they have or a need that they have.
Exactly.
Right?
And that brings you to the second part, which is engage. How do you generate engagement? Well, you then let them know that in your upcoming materials, such as your website, that you have a solution forthcoming. Again, tying it back into your hot button issue and the same pay point as before. So,
right.
And an example of that is actually the way we introduce this very podcast. Hit you right away with a pain point, a low converting website, then saying, hey, listen to this podcast and you're going to learn how to fix that. And that's what you want your website to be doing, is saying, read on my
Educating.
website and learn how to and learn
Right.
how we can
Education.
solve your problem.
Exactly.
And
I mean, that is how you're going to get attention. It's how people are going to, want to come to you. If one, you are providing a little bit on your website for them, they're more likely to come to you anyway, right? So if you're giving a little bit of, good information to a customer or a potential customer on your website, like you say, with, attention grabbing stuff, whatever the case may be, they're going to come to you because they're going to think, wow, they obviously have some answers. So why wouldn't I, find out what they're all about?
exactly. And that brings us to the third step in the element of marketing, and that's educate. Now, the key
Exactly.
thing with educate is that you want to focus on the benefits that your solutions have to offer, providing evidence backing up your claims that it's going to solve the problem. And that evidence can be in the form of testimonials, case studies, and other anecdotal evidence. Or,
Right. Or in my case, it would be demos.
yes, exactly. It could also come in the form of referencing statistics and research data showing
Right.
showing that how your solution
Yeah.
works. Now, it could be
And
especially important if you're, say, maybe offering a supplement or maybe a healthcare product or something like that, where you need to show that research data that shows that this supplement does what we say it's going to do.
exactly.
So that's how you
Exactly.
build that credibility up, is by backing up what the claims you're making. Now, the
Exactly.
common mistake that I see made in this section of your marketing formula on websites is people tend to give out some platitudes, give some cliches, and then list off a bunch of features.
Right.
And what is a cliche or platitude? Well, that's making a broad statement that anyone can really make, that doesn't really say, like, we're the best. Well, what do you mean by we're the best? Right? As opposed to saying some specific things you do that make you the best.
I think
So,
mine does actually kind of do that, which is cool.
yeah. So, yeah, then the other part of it is features. Well, there is a saying, features tell, benefits sell. Because when you're talking about a feature, you're basically saying, my product has this physical description. It has these specs. And, or I do this or that. Now, you notice that
Right.
the key wording in this always is I have, I do, we have, we do.
Right.
Whereas when you're going into a benefit, you're starting to say, this is what you get from this thing.
Exactly.
So, for example, you
Exactly.
hire, Terry to do voiceover. Here's what you can get as a professional female, voice, narrating your, doing your
Corporate
narration,
video,
or,
yeah, whatever it is. Yeah.
voiceovering your ad, or whatever it is that you're
Right.
hiring, do it, voicing your character, whatever you're looking for. You're going to get a professional who's going to be providing a very specific quality of voice. Which, if that's
Exactly.
and if that's the quality of voice you're looking for, then that's who you want to go with, is the person that provides that voice.
Exactly.
So,
And then there's also this voice. So,
yeah,
you know. Exactly. And the thing is, like, for my business, that would literally be the demos, and having them downloadable, because people are going to want to download those because they're going to keep that on file, right? If they
yeah,
like my demo, they may not like me for whatever, that particular audition was for, but they can go to my site and go, oh, let me download that because I really liked her, but she wasn't good for that, but I think I might use her in the future.
yeah, exactly.
So, yeah, that's what you want.
Yeah, and if your business isn't voice acting, maybe you're a consultant. Well, what can you do that would offer a similar type of approach? Is you can create a free report, a free ebook, make that downloadable, but with A
Right.
twist there is you make that what you call a lead magnet offer, and then you make that downloadable when the person subscribes to your email list. They get a drip
Got
campaign.
it.
Maybe they
Yeah.
get on your newsletter so that they get notified whenever you post a new blog article to your site, and they get that free report, which gives them some value-added information, and you get to capture their contact info so you can follow up with them. So when they've finished researching and going through their decision-making process, and they're ready to now make that buying decision, you're going to be top of mind for who they're going to want to buy from.
Exactly.
Especially if the email follow-up and the information in the free ebook or report or whatever your lead magnet offer was good information that actually genuinely helped them towards a solution to their problem to begin with, or solving a minor part of their problem. And when it comes time to get the full solution, who are they going to want to go to?
Right. Right. Right.
Of course, and that's what we're talking about here is the fourth and final part of your four elements of marketing, the offer.
Right.
And that's where you can also call it call to action, a number of different names you can make, but basically that's where you tell the person, here's what to do to take the next step in getting the solution.
Right.
And a common mistake I'll see is people do all three other things right, but then they'll have a lackluster offer or no offer at all, or they'll just have their contact info. And when you get to that stage, what you have is what I call selling your services for your competition website.
Oh,
Because they're going to get
wow.
sold on the solution that you have to offer, but they're not going to take the next step with you because you didn't tell them what to do next. Then they're going to go to your next competitor on the list who remembered to put an offer up there, even if the rest of their stuff is kind of mediocre. The fact they have that offer there means that you've already done all the hard work of selling them, and now the person who presented them the offer gets the sale.
So how do you, and just speaking for my own business, well, how would I do that? How would I do that on my website as a voice artist with my demos there? What would be something that I could offer them that other voice artists aren't doing?
Well, perhaps, let's say if your niche is people are looking for a voice artists for say voiceover on a commercial or an ad, you could perhaps give them maybe a white paper free report that talks about the four elements of marketing and how you can apply it to, say, a radio ad or a YouTube
Oh, I
ad.
see. Oh, that's a great idea.
And
That's a
so,
great idea.
so now you're incorporating further education into it, providing with some value added incentives for them to go onto your contact list. And then you can follow up with them and see what roles they have coming up and be
Yeah,
someone you
exactly.
see as
Oh,
being on
that's
top of it and
it's
ready to
really, really
submit
good. Look at you.
ready to submit
So I'll have to do
auditions
that.
or showing expert knowledge on a particular subject matter within your profession.
So,
So if they're
or
so if
because I
it's
know
an
some
ad
people,
agency that came across your website and you present them with that information, helps them to make better ads. You just shown expert knowledge on advertising. Who are they going to want to hire when they need a female voice for an ad?
somebody who understands their business.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not just, it's not just knowing, that their business either. I mean, it's got to be more than that. And you are developing relationships with people when you do this because you want them for lifelong clients if you can. I know not every business maybe is set up that way, depending on what their service or product is. But, for me, I want to set up so that I get repeats. I want people to come back to me because I want them to not just, like my performances, but like my knowledge, like my customer service, all of those things, they tie into one thing. So, but the education part and, giving them, like you said, the knowledge and then making that offer to them that this is what I can do with the benefits that I've shown you. So, yeah, that's a really good idea. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, now,
You're one smart cookie.
and of course now the question comes, well, how can I make sure that that's implemented on my website? Well,
Right.
there,
So, go ahead.
yeah, so we have got a solution for you here on that. That's called my complimentary website conversion report. Now,
Okay.
Terry can tell you all about what those are like, because that was how we first met. Is I gave her one of those conversion reports.
Yes, you did. Wow.
And
It's complicated to me, if you ask me. However, Jason is very knowledgeable and can walk you through it and get you to understand what it is. So there's
yeah.
that.
And the way it works is you book a time to receive your report, and I'll get on the on a call with you one on one, go over the findings, and basically what it'll do with the report is rate how each of the four elements of marketing. Plus, the fifth thing that we look at is your general website design best practices. We'll look at how each of those are implemented for websites
Right.
on your website, and then I'll look at what are the main issues I found and present my recommendations to help resolve those issues, which will then boost your website to a higher performance level. I'll be
Sorry.
and I'll be leaving a link in the description below in case you would like to book a time to get this conversion report, which will be a link to my. The only thing I would ask is that you allow up to at least 5 business days for me to have time to prepare your report.
And there you have it. If your website isn't converting, it's not broken. It's just not speaking your customer's language yet. Remember, attention, engagement, education, and a strong offer are the keys to turning browsers into buyers. And if you're still unsure how well your website is performing, don't guess. Get clarity. Claim your complimentary website conversion report. It's tailored, actionable, and 100% free. Just follow the link in the description to schedule your deep dive or get more info, because your website shouldn't just look good, it should work for you. Until next time, I'm Terry.
And I'm Jason.
Reminding you, your voice matters, your message matters. And when you speak with clarity, conversion follows.